I hope you guys are ready for a great show today because, hey, let me be the first to say that yesterday was not so good, at least in my eyes. I don't know what was going on in my brain, but hey, we're back. It's a new day, new us, new Get Your Fix. But hey, also I'd like to apologize for those who have experienced a lag of my show, not really dealing with the greatest of internet here, but that will change here in the upcoming months, at least we hope. So hey, if it just continues to get worse, or if it is worse, it is what it is for now. Just deal with it, because we can only do what we can do. So hey, with that being said, we got a packed day. So are you ready to get your fix? A lot of so's. So. Well, here we're going to talk today a lot, mainly about some teams, and at the end we're going to kind of go over, the one-year contracts and what that is all about, and then kind of talk a little bit briefly on what's going to happen and transpire tomorrow. Now, to get started, we're going right to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Haven't talked about this team really at all this year, especially since they won the Super Bowl. And guess what? My fucking boy Brady did it again. Dude's got 7 Super Bowl rings. Oh, and by the way, he's 43 years old. I mean, what else do you need? He's the best quarterback. He's the greatest of all time. And I promise you this guy isn't going anywhere soon, at least for this upcoming season. Hey, who knows if he's going to be there in 2 years, all right? But hey, go get that goddamn 8th ring, please. We need it. We definitely need it. Well, not, we, but me and you need it. Talk shit about everything. And talk to everybody. How about that? But besides winning, that Super Bowl last year, which I did not, or many people didn't even think was going to happen, thought the Chiefs were going to walk away with that. But they were able to keep everybody home, okay? They kept everybody tight-knit in that Tampa Bay community over there. So, at that Super Bowl parade, to get things started with this, Bruce Arians, told Chris Godwin and Levante David that your ass ain't going nowhere. Okay, he did that publicly, made sure that was known. He signed him to a 4-year extension. But with that being said, it all voids to a 1-year extension. So like I said, we're going to get to those 1-year contracts at the end so you guys kind of understand really what is going on, a little bit better and why all that's happening. But back to this was a must, okay, obviously. The dude has 7 rings. What else do you want me to say? I mean, you got to keep him around. He obviously proved he can still play some decent football. Yeah, the picks were up a little bit, but hey, doesn't matter if you still got that ring on your finger. So, I mean, really, just the greatest of all time. They had to sign him, okay? And then, bam, Shaq Barrett. Now, this one was kind of interesting. I was, not really sure what they were going to do, how they were going to keep him, but they had enough money, obviously. They signed him to a 4-year deal. He's a linebacker, and he was, I believe, $72 million with about $36 million guaranteed. But what this does is that keeps that linebacker crew together, okay, which can only mean good things in the future. Chemistry is a really, is a huge thing, and it's really not that talked about at the linebacker position, and it should be because, granted, there are those guys that can succeed regardless of who's around them. But at the same time, you gotta know if it's gonna be a run play, if it's gonna be a pass play. You gotta be in the right zones. It's literally every position, and we're going back to Aaron Rodgers here and what he said. You need all 11 to be on the same page. Otherwise, it doesn't work at all. And you can see it unfold right between your eyes. It's not like the NBA. It's not like, Major League Baseball where you have one guy that all of a sudden hits a 3-run bomb or something like that. All 11 guys have to be on the same page. Okay? And that's huge, keeping Shaq Barrett here. That linebacker crew, now with, Levante David, Shaq Barrett, and I can't really remember the other one off the top of my head, but they're able to keep them with, and, that really just proves that this defense was that centerpiece last year. And we've seen that in the playoffs, that defense was a big reason to why they won, and to why they won a lot of games. But then after they go sign, Shaq Barrett and Tom Brady and Levante David, they go out and they keep Gronk. They were able to keep him. Now, I wasn't really sure where he was going to go after this year. He really wasn't a big piece until later in the year, a little bit, not too much. But they kept him. Okay, 1-year deal, $10 million, a good keep. Okay, and then they were able to sign their kicker, Ryan Suckup, great keep. A lot of kickers actually got cut. We've seen that throughout the league because, they're just too much money, and they know that they can sign somebody to less money that'll, do just like the exact same job, okay? But then after that, they go sign running back Giovanni Bernard, who is a long-time Bengal, or not long time, but a couple-year Bengal. They signed him to a one-year deal. Great signing. That helps with, let's see, who they have? Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette there. Big pieces, okay, in that backfield that all should be able to do it like everything. Giovanni Bernard's really, really good in the receiving game, where I think, Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette are going to be those more of the running type of running backs instead of the receiving ones. But good signing, okay? And then finally, we get to the guy that Bruce Arians, or one of the guys that Bruce Arians said, your ass ain't going nowhere. They end up signing Chris Godwin. Okay, now they didn't have enough money to sign him to a massive contract, a big one, even though he is deserving. Okay, Chris Godwin said, the hell with it, we're good. I want to stay on this team. We have another chance. So they signed him to a one-year deal worth about $15.9 million. Huge, okay? Because we have seen what this guy can do. Like I said, he's proven, he deserves a lot of money in this league. He's very, very, very consistent. In the past 3 years, in 2018, he had 842 yards, 7 touchdowns. 2019, 1,333 yards. That's where he really exploded, okay? Had 9 touchdowns. Then you go to last year. Didn't really produce too much. At least you weren't really aware that he was. At least I really didn't notice it a lot. There was a couple games he did go off, granted. But last year, 840 yards, 7 touchdowns. Dude's a baller, okay? He knows how to play wide receiver, and he does it very, very well. So with him and Mike Evans there's no doubt in my mind that offense is going to be just fine. Okay, the only thing that really wasn't that special, this offseason about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was their draft. But with that being said, it was all right because all they did in their draft was really get a lot of good depth, okay, at positions they needed to do so. So, this team, I think, honestly, is going to be a force for the next 5 years with or without Tom Brady because they have crazy depth at every position. Go look at their depth chart on CBS Sports, okay? That's where I looked. Literally every position, first string to third string, is completely filled, okay? There's only like 1 or 2 slots where the third string isn't. So they got really good depth. They kept most of their guys also from last year. Huge if you want to go back and try to win another ring because those guys know what it takes to do so. So all in all, be ready for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, okay? They're going to have a tough fight against the Saints, especially if Jameis Winston balls out. But be ready for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now moving away from them, okay? What was it? Yesterday. No, 2 days. Yeah, yesterday or 2 days ago. No, last Friday, excuse me. We went to, how we talked about my way too early award predictions brought to you because of Joe Jansen out there. But one of those guys we're going to kind of talk about right now is on the team that we're going to talk about, the Dallas Cowboys. Okay? Well, America's team, right? How was those playoffs last year? Oh, y'all didn't go again. 2018 was the last time they went. They lost. Since then, it's been, kind of shitty all in all. I mean, this team has really been able to consistently fool all of us. Okay? We always think that these guys have a chance, which, looking at their roster, you'd think they do. Like, and another way to look at that is they're really aggressive, going to get the players they want, or the players, Jerry Jones wants, not what the organization wants, what the fans wants, what Jerry Jones wants. And you'd think that would help them a lot, getting big-name players, getting guys that want to go to Dallas because there's no income tax, so you get 100% of your salary that they sign you to. And that's another thing. They have all the money in the world. All the money in the world to sign these guys. Okay? Not literally, obviously, but they have the most out of pretty much all the franchises. These guys have enough. Jerry Jones has enough. Literally, when he bought the Cowboys, all he did was take a loan out I think it was take a loan out and put it on his credit card or something stupid. Okay, and look what happened now. He was able to pay it off in a blink of an eye. So they have enough money. Okay, they go and do all this stuff. But here's the thing. They haven't been to the NFC Championship game since 1994. And even then, they might have won. A long fucking time. So then last year, they try to do their obvious thing, go make moves. They get rid of Jason Garrett, bring in Mike McCarthy. Wasn't all that thrilled about this, didn't know how it was going to go, but hey, it is what it is. They wanted their guy, they got him. But, started the last 2 years, the last 2 years. Dak Prescott, has started the last 2 to 3 years. But, in 5 games this year, Dak Prescott only led his team to 2-3. I think that is what I meant to say. Kind of got a little off track there. But 2-3 in 5 games last year. Okay, and granted, he did get injured with a gruesome ankle injury in Week 5 against the Giants. And the Cowboys go and finish 6-10 with a bunch of backups. Right then and there, even I said, Dak Prescott isn't deserving of all the money in the world. He's not going to get that until he proves it. Well, he went out and really couldn't prove it. Obviously. Shame, but he couldn't. Well, go in the offseason, they do the same thing, kind of bickering back and forth what's going to happen, and then bam, Jerry Jones hits him with the last franchise tag he can ever get. So that helps him out a little bit, obviously. But I'd assume he's a little angry being that. He's like, whoa. But, he can't be like that because the dude didn't do nothing for him. 2-3. Now, if you would have went 4-1, 5-0, we could, maybe start after they go and do all that. Okay, plus some. Perform as well as the first team guys did, or the starters did. But they have everything they need. Their offense is stacked from weapons to their offensive line. Their defense has major depth and lots of young players who are hungry, obviously. Okay, really good year though. Okay, that's because they've been able to at least somewhat know what to do on a regular basis, on a daily basis. Now they know the playbook, they know their head coach, they know what they got, they know their teammates. So they should be able to make that second year leap. Especially cornerback Trevon Diggs. Okay, he had 58 tackles, 1 sack, 14 pass deflections, and 3 interceptions. Pretty solid. Okay. Now I knew he was going to be a really good corner. Coming out of college, played for Alabama. He was slow at the start, but this guy is really, really good when it comes to awareness of where that ball is going to be and where that ball is going to hit the receiver's hands. So this guy, obviously, with those stats, should make that leap, and a gigantic leap at that. Okay, his brother Stephon Diggs, they work constantly together. I believe Trevon's probably a little bit better. At least coming out of high school he was, because he went to Alabama, his brother went to Maryland. But anyways, that's beside the fact. But he should make a leap. Okay, and then they go in the draft. They get Michael Parsons. We talked a little bit about him. It's an absolute stud. This is a very, very good signing. So as long as this team stays, somewhat at the same time as the Cowboys. So you really don't know what to get. Like I said yesterday, they're America's entertainment team. We're just kind of watching to see what happens next. Okay, we're not really watching to see if they succeed or fail. We hope don't go all the way, obvious. Well, some of us. It's like a movie. They leave you on a cliffhanger at the end of 1 week, and then they bring you back next week, and they might leave you off on another one, or they might end it real quick, or something like that. It's just an entertainment business over there. That's what it feels like. Now, I don't think this team is necessarily going to win their division, but if they're going to, it's only going to be at least by 1 or 2 games. Not going to be by much more. Okay, Washington's defense is the biggest force in that division. They're going to be the reason Washington stays ahead of a lot of of the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Giants. It's going to be a big reason. But if the Cowboys play like they're supposed to, with all that talent they got, Cowboys should win their division. Who knows? I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be Washington again, as much as I'm not 100% sure. I think it might be. But that all depends on when I watch that schedule release tomorrow, which we're going to get to later. But, like I said, this is Washington's division at the moment. And that easily could change, all depending on the quarterback play. Okay, obviously, not Alex Smith, sorry. Ryan Fitzpatrick with Washington. Okay, you really don't know. Dak Prescott coming off an ankle injury. We'll kind of see where that goes. Obviously, like I said, entertainment team. You just want to see what they do next. So right now, all we can do is wait to see what happens preseason and see how many cuttings they do and if they do any trades along the way or something like that. Because the Cowboys are a very, very interesting team to say the least. So off of a shitty team, we're gonna go to not a really shitty team, just a non-consistent team. We're gonna go over to a team that's stuck in a really shitty situation. Okay, the Denver Broncos. Now this team, it's in a very interesting place. They can do a lot of things. Okay, and we're gonna get to those a little bit. They had no answer last year at quarterback whatsoever. I mean, Drew Lock. As much as if you guys remember, I talked about him highly. Thought he was going to be that sleeper for year 2, but wasn't the case. And with all those guys going out there and all the other broadcasters saying they don't like his dancing, hey, if that calms him down, that calms him down. All right, that's his type of game. He just didn't cut it last year. Okay, this is a tough league. It only really has Jareer Alexander. They did draft Eric Stokes in that first round. But you don't know what you're going to get with Eric Stokes. And I guess you don't really know what you're going to get with Patrick Surtain either. But Patrick Surtain in college was the better guy. So do you take that risk? More than likely. And then you got Teddy Bridgewater. You got a guy that's already started in this league. You got a guy that can play for now. Obviously, you need somebody. Because Green Bay's GM came out and said, Jordan Love is not ready at all. He can, no. So that means right then and there they fucked up on that draft pick. So this would be perfect. Send them a couple picks, Tip Bridgewater, Surtain, and they're fine. And then bring Aaron Rodgers here. He'd have the weapons. He'd have the offensive line who's young and ready to roll. He'd have a GM. He'd have an owner that's win hungry, want to go get that Super Bowl again. This would be the same scenario like Peyton Manning. And I guess you'd want that. You'd want another ring, especially if he's going to play 5 to 7 more years. For sure, probably 4. Now, like I said, this would obviously be a good move for both franchises. However, if Teddy Bridgewater is the guy going forward this season, that's okay. You're just fine. You're not going to improve, really. You're not going to, decrease in performance at all. Or probably a little, who knows. I think you're going to stay at that same situation you had last year. Okay, you got Melvin Gordon coming back. They did lose Phillip Lindsay, but that's all right. Melvin Gordon's probably the better running back. Phillip Lindsay didn't do so hot last year. So you got him back in that backfield, looking, to have a breakout year. Didn't really, lost his job to Austin Eckler, trying to sit out for a contract. That was his own fault. Can't really do anything but laugh at that. And then, last year really was kind of taking reps with Phillip Lindsay and splitting the workout load. So he's looking to do something. Okay, then you got that wide receiver group. It's very young. It's very solid. Cortland Sutton, hurt all last year. We thought he was going to have a good year. 2 years ago, I believe he did pretty decent. Okay, so you're looking for him to do the same thing Melvin Gordon is. Have a breakout year. Come and prove that injury or that sitting out is not going to hurt him at all. Okay, and then you got Jerry Jeudy. Okay, he's going to be a top receiver this season. Put that down. Mark that. Going to be a top receiver in this league, whether that's top 10, top 5, top 10, but I think it's probably going to be within the top 10 to 15. Okay, he's going to be a top one in this league, obviously. That's just what I'm thinking. Why I say obviously is because last year he started 14 games, 856 yards on 52 receptions, averaged about 16.5 yards per catch. Or per reception, whatever you want to say. And he did all that with 3 touchdowns as well. So he wasn't really there with the touchdowns, but that was the Broncos' thing. They lost a lot of games last year. They weren't scoring. So it is what it is. He's going to be very, very good. Okay? On top of that last year stats, he had 14 receptions of 20-plus yards and 4 of 40-plus yards. So if you get him the ball, he's going to get you a lot of yards very quickly. Going to move the ball downfield. And right away, that reminds me of a Julio Jones. He's going to move you down that field. He's not going to necessarily get you in the end zone, but he's going to put you in a situation where you should be able to score, whether that's field goal or touchdown. Who knows? He's going to do that. Now, year 2 is probably going to be a really, really big year for him. He's going to score a lot more, I think. And honestly, like, watch out. This guy could jump to that wide receiver 1 position. Cortland Sutton could be that number 2 guy. Okay? And then after Jerry Jeudy, you got Tim Patrick. Had his breakout year last year. Had 742 yards on 51 receptions and 6 touchdowns. Okay? Really came out of nowhere. Did really, really good last year. Then you got KJ Hamler. Really wasn't utilized too much, but he's crazy fast and was mainly a punt returner and kick returner. So hopefully he gets some snaps at wide receiver because he could be very, very dangerous. Like, I'm telling, very dangerous. With his speed, he can get open, and he can get open very fast, and he has good vision. Okay? And then finally, you go look, other than their wide receivers, another receiving target. Their tight end, Noah Fant. Brings a lot of upside to this team. Okay, he's played very, very consistent the last 2 years that he's played. In 2019, had 562 yards and 4 receptions and 3 touchdowns. Then last year, 673 yards, 62 receptions, and 3 touchdowns again. Okay, so he's just going to be that guy where you can, dish and dunk and whoever you want, and he's going to get you a couple yards here and there, and he might be able to put it in the end zone. They utilized him very, very well, and I think they can only go, up to utilizing him, or only improve in utilizing him. That's what I'm trying to say. But, I mean, you also look at it, he literally had a catch in every single game he played last season, besides the one he missed in Week 14 due to ankle issues, in which he actually suffered an ankle injury to the Jets and really never kind of recovered fully. So that's kind of probably why he didn't, outdo his year 1 performance, but he still was able to stay consistent enough with it and not really, decrease in production at all. So they have the guys. Okay, they have the wide receiver core, they have the running back, they have not really the quarterback, but they have something in mind. You bring Aaron Rodgers there, that's just going to elevate him enough, because we've seen Aaron Rodgers do something with absolutely nothing. Okay, guy's a genie. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think Denver will do much more than last season. I mean, they went 5-11, went 1-5 in the AFC West, which was last behind, the Raiders, Chargers, and Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs are going to obviously win this division again unless, the Chargers, which they should make a playoff push and should make the playoffs and make a big turnaround. So the Chargers beat the Chiefs' only real threat, I think, in that division. And then you got the Raiders. Well, really don't know what to think about the Raiders, to be honest, because they could be either really good or really bad. Like, you really don't know. I'm pretty sure the Chiefs suffered their first loss last year to the Raiders out of nowhere. So you really don't know what the hell is going to happen with the Raiders because they're just bad. We talked about them the other day, and oh my goodness, I just don't understand what John Gruden's got cooking over there because man's a Looney Tune. But whatever, who cares? We're all Looney Tunes. I'm a Looney Tune. Probably the better one of them too. Probably just dumb. But making you guys dumber and dumber as we go, huh? No. But hey, enough with those teams, okay? We're going to talk about those one-year contracts like I mentioned earlier. Now, you guys have probably thought to yourselves, what the hell is going on with all these one-year contracts? What's the deal with that? Well, there's an easy answer. COVID-19 is the answer. That's why, okay? COVID took a big, big chunk of this year's salary cap, okay? This year's salary cap was actually set at $182.5 million. You guys probably remember that as we talked about it. I can't remember when we really talked about it. I think I just posted or something. But yeah, $182.5 million. Sounds all right. But it's also down 8% from last season. So that's a big chunk of money. Now, it could have been worse. They were thinking maybe $170 million was going to be the lowest or something like that, 175. So it could have been much, much worse. So with the uncertainty, teams really only wanted to sign guys that, wanted these shorter terms, and those guys that were going to be loyal and say, hey, I understand cap issues, but I still want to be on this team. Sign a one-year deal, let's get it done. And that's a big reason, okay? It saves a lot of money. And it also could help create a lot more money for the next couple years. And with that, I'm meaning, like, you sign these guys to low contracts, right? And then you make a shitload of money. Say you're Buccaneers again, you go to the Super Bowl, you make a lot of money. Okay, that helps a lot for next year because now you have even more money for those only 1-year contracts that are all gone now. You don't have to pay them anymore. So now you have even more money. So that could help a lot. Okay. Now it also gives guys who deserve a job but might have like a higher asking price, like kind of talked a little bit about, have a chance to like bring it down, be humble a little bit, and just play this 1 year, get out of that cap differential, that cap decrease there. And so the cap rises a little bit next year, and then you have that opportunity to get those big contracts, like a Chris Godwin, because he deserves it. And I think, obviously, he signed that 1-year contract because of this. He wants to be a Buccaneer knowing there is a chance to succeed once again, okay? And he knows that next year there's probably going to be a lot more cap, hopefully, honestly. I mean, there's going to be full stadiums, hopefully. Another hopefully. We could start up a rap if you guys wanted to, just like how John brought it up. We're doing it well or something like that. But like you said, it gives these guys an opportunity to humble themselves a little bit, bring it down, and know that, hey, next year we're going to have a little bit more money and have that opportunity to get those big contract extensions and those massive amounts of money. Okay, so that's pretty much the gist of the 1-year contracts. Okay, it just gives teams and players a little leeway, both sides, good and bad. Who cares? They had to do it money-wise. Little bit of news, kind of a quicker little episode, but hey, we're just gonna get straight to the point. Talk a little bit about it, so it's easy. It's going through the flow. It's not really thinking too much. It's just get straight point, putting there, getting you guys your fix. But we're gonna move over to what's going to gonna happen tomorrow. Okay, the NFL schedule release. Now, this is going to be tomorrow, again, reminder, at 7 p.m. Central Time on NFL Network and the NFL apps. Now, I was thinking of maybe doing the show during that time, but we're not going to, okay? We're going to maybe tone it down a little bit. We'll probably do another quick one like today so that I have enough time to kind of put stuff away and get things ready so I'm able to watch that, kind of see what's going on. And then tomorrow bring you guys that news. But anyways, a couple things to really be ready for, while you're watching this, and just kind of, if you're brainstorming what the hell is going to happen, just this is what you got to watch for. And this was all brought to my attention on Twitter via Brian McCarthy, who I think his Twitter handle is NFL PR guy, so he probably works for the NFL, you can assume. But what he said pretty much, and we're going to go through it, is that, okay, we talked about every team has to have 17 or is going to play 17 regular season games with one bye week. Okay? Now, clubs will host 10 games, okay? Now, they can do this in two ways. Either they'll have 9 regular season games and 1 preseason game, or they'll have 8 regular season games and 2 preseason games. Okay, those will all be home. Now, home and away games, obviously, they'll have against their 3 division opponents. That's 6 games, like every year that the NFL is happening. 2 times everybody in your division. You got to play them home and away. Okay, but then this is kind of where it gets a little confusing. Now, the 4 teams from another division in the other conference on a rotating 4-year cycle, so 4 games they're going to play this year means that they're going to have 4 teams from another division in the other conference, and what they're going to do is they're going to rotate through a 4-year cycle. So they'll play 4 games from one, or I think, if I remember right, it's like they play, like each team will play so the NFC North, let's go like this: Vikings, Packers, Bears, and Lions. Okay, then you go look at the AFC West: Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. Okay, so let's say the Vikings play the Chiefs, the Packers play the Raiders, the Bears play the Broncos, and the Lions play the Chargers. Okay, so that is going to be their games. I think that's what they mean by 4 different games in another division. And that's just going to pretty much rotate. I think it's either that way, or they all have to play like those whole 4 teams in that division. They'll just rotate it, and then they'll switch to a different division and do that every year kind of thing. Not really sure, really confused by it, but that's why I'm here to just kind of give a little information so you guys know what to look for tomorrow when they're trying to explain it. Probably a little bit better to me because, I don't know, it was just kind of confusing. Thought I should just let you know. But also 2 intra-conference games based on the prior year's standing. Now what this means is these games will match a first-place team against the first-place team in the 2 same conference divisions. Okay, now the team is, I guess, no, they will also do that if the team is not scheduled to play that season. Okay, whoever they're not scheduled to play, that's who they're going to end up playing. I guess, I don't really know. But that's what it said. And then the 2nd place, 3rd place, and 4th place teams in the conference are matched in the same way each year. So 2nd versus 2nd, 2nd versus 2nd, 3rd versus 3rd, 4th for 4th. Okay, same thing. Then you're going to have 1 intra-conference game based on the prior year's standings on a rotating 4-year cycle. Now these games match a first-place team against, or from a 1 division against another first-place team in another division, or an opposite conference division, that the team is not scheduled to play this season. Okay, the 2nd place, 3rd place, 4th place teams in each division are matched obviously the same way each year. Not really too crazy on that one. But then also, I guess they also came out with a little thing that said the home conference for this game, so that 1 intra-conference game, I believe, is that 17th game. Okay, and what it is, the home conference for this game is going to rotate each season. So if it's AFC conference and they're the home team this year, which they are, because I guess it was determined that the AFC would be the home conference for the 17th game in this upcoming season, the 2021-2022 season right here that we got. So what that means is for the next season in the NFL, the NFC will be that home team. And then the AFC, NFC, AFC, NFC. It'll keep just rotating like that. So really not too much to watch, because all that is just a bunch of mumbo jumbo that they just have to they just put out there just in case. But really all that matters is you're going to see logos of one team come on to another logo of another team, and then you'll really know. You put a picture there, and trust me, everybody can read it a lot better. I know it's really hard to probably understand on this. Just know that they're going to set up a schedule week 1 through 17. And with that also being said, week 1, the week 1 schedule, they're also going to be dropping tomorrow morning for every team. So we'll all know week 1 pretty much right from the get-go, even like long before we do the show, long before we do the NFL schedule release show, or before the NFL does their show. Okay, so we're going to know week 1. That's about it. And then the rest, 2 through 17, that's what we're going to figure out. You're going to see all the primetime games we talked about a little bit. I think last week a little bit. So just be ready for that. Like I said, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Time, NFL Network, NFL app. If you want to watch, go do it. Do what you want. I don't care. If not, we're going to still be here, obviously before that to give you guys your fix. Well, enough of that mumbo jumbo. That's all I got for you today, and hopefully you guys continue to get smarter day by day listening to my dumbass. But you're probably not doing so hot, but hey, keep it going. Don't matter. We're just here to talk NFL and a little bit of everything else that's going around the world, the league, and we got to have a guest on here very shortly, very soon. Hopefully we can get that done. But hey, for the meantime, we will see you guys back here tomorrow, like I said, probably for another shorter show, probably about 30 minutes, kind of just punch right through it, get right through that thing, and kind of like today. I mean, it's only been 40-some minutes. Usually we go an hour. Sometimes we've gone a little short, but that's all right. We're only here to give you guys the information, give you guys your fix, and that's all I care about. As long as you guys are watching, tuning in, and having a good time, hey, it's all that matters. So, like I said, tomorrow, shorter show due to that NFL schedule release, and you guys are going to have a wonderful rest of your day, hopefully, and you just got your fix with the Wicks. Hell yeah. All right.